Hey guys, this is Zach Cummings, UFC welterweight, middleweight, and light heavyweight. Check out Hungover Hand Right.
Welcome back to Hungover Hand Right. That's Dylan. I'm Jonathan, and today is the UFC 294 review show. And Dylan, this thing had a couple highs and a lot of lows.
I think the lows honestly overshadowed the entire card.
Think so?
Yeah, well, if you're a Volk fan, like the whole podcast is.
Yeah, it's
that just put a big old damper on the entire card for me.
I mean, even without the bias part of it, like just the Johnny Walker situation, the kind of lackluster Usman Khamzat fight. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but
right,
it just didn't feel like $80 worth of value.
No, absolutely not.
Even if you weren't a Volk fan.
Right.
But we're gonna go through each fight. We're gonna kind of just hit the ones that we want to talk about. Basically, we're gonna start with Sharabutdin Magomedov versus Bruno Silva. Obviously, Magomedov, people are really high on this guy. His eye is weird as hell.
So he actually, did he not see out of that eye?
I don't know that. I feel like he should.
I don't think he can.
It doesn't look like he can.
It doesn't look like it should work.
It's looking that way, and it's like a different color.
So, from him, he really solid kicks. He's blasting the low kicks, but he didn't really set him up with anything. He threw a flying knee. He looks like real explosive and athletic, but he turned Bruno Silva into a wrestler, which would normally be a good thing if you're fighting Bruno Silva, but he landed takedowns.
Yep.
And he looked like he was like okay with just being on his back.
Yeah, I mean, he did a lot of damage down there, but
in the second he did, and that's honestly, I think he won the round off of his back by doing so.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's not that active, I think he loses that fight.
That's the thing. He's not going to be able to do that type of low fight IQ shit against like the top guys. I'm sure he's going to clean shit up like that, but
which Bruno's tough. Like he's fought some names. Like he's like 23-10, I think now.
He fought Pereira.
He's no chump. Yeah, fought Pereira. But when a guy like that has success wrestling against you, I think going into that fight, he had shot for one takedown in the UFC. But before that fight, one.
I think. I looked earlier. I thought it said he was like 27%, like including this fight. So I guess I guess that would make sense, but
right.
That's
I don't know.
Not good.
Like DC and Felder, they were kind of picking him apart the whole time, like basically pointing out everything wrong that he did.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's dynamic and he's explosive with the kicks, and he's one of those guys that can like put so much in front of you that you have a really hard time knowing what's coming next.
Right.
Like he can definitely be that type of guy, but he's got to get a little bit. Like he can't just go as crazy when he like hurts somebody, because Bruno at one point he like shelled up and like kind of baited him.
You're right, and then
he started letting go, and then he shot underneath.
Shot right under.
Yeah.
If he fights like an actual like world class, really good wrestler or someone that's their strong suit, I think he's going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll get in there with a bunch of Dagestanis and clean it up probably, but
right.
I would say, like, he comes from a kickboxing background. I'd say, like, an Izzy came in, like, at this point in his UFC career, he was a much better, like, anti-grappler than that guy is.
Right.
So,
if they just keep putting strikers in front of him, then he'll be fun to watch, but you can only do that long.
Yeah, I did want to say that, like, Kenny, you mentioned earlier, Bruno Silva is not, like, a layup first fight. Like they gave him a pretty tough one, but
Yeah, that was a big step up.
yeah.
I actually I thought Bruno did pretty good in that fight too.
He did. He kind of got tired. I mean, obviously like body kicks and stuff, probably, and just wrestling and him not being a wrestler.
A lot of push of him too.
Yeah, I was like, man, like let's get like active here a little bit on the feet. He was so like mesmerized by like this guy just throwing all kinds of crazy kicks and stuff. He just didn't really let it go that much. Victoria Dudikova beat Jinyu Frey. Jinyu Frey is on like a 4-fight skid now. She's 11-10. Dudikova looked all right. Naimov beat Nathaniel Wood. This was unfortunate for Nathaniel Wood. He got kneed in the nuts, lost the round, got kicked in the nuts. No point was taken, lost that round, and then won the third. Lost 29-28. I just don't see how you don't take a point.
After the second one, that's got to be a point. And then it's a draw and you move on.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Nathaniel Wood, he got screwed obviously by that, but he also just the way the fight played out, he was put on his back a couple times or they would be in a scramble and he would just kind of be on the wrong end of it. So he couldn't really get going until the third round in this one. Mike Breeden, the local boy.
I was pumped on that one.
Lost the first 2 rounds. Was he 0-3 in the UFC before that?
I'd want to say, yeah, which is pretty crazy. He still got another crack at it, but
I know.
Which I think his first fight, I can't remember who was against, but might have been, was it Hernandez?
Alex Hernandez.
I think he got to hang around a little more because I'm pretty sure he took that on like really short notice.
Is that right? Let me make sure on that.
It was Hernandez, because he got knocked out early by somebody like that.
I mean, I think T-Rex. Yeah, okay, yeah, it was Hernandez. A minute 20.
I'm pretty sure that one was really quick notice.
Yeah. Lost a decision against Natan Levy and then got knocked out in a minute 25 by Terrence McKinney. So, but
he saved his job last night.
And man, unfortunately, like he definitely earned himself probably one more. There's no for sure with the UFC. They can really get ready at any time, but like I feel like there's just as much pressure in the next one too.
Oh yeah.
If he loses the next one, then you're 1-4. Like
he did go out and bark in his face and just started throwing leather.
That part of it, I mean, the finish obviously helps, but like that part of it and kind of getting the crowd like hyped up, I think that probably helped his case a little bit for sticking around. He's got some hands on him too.
He does, dude. He's a slick. He's got good boxing.
He kind of reminds me of Michael Johnson.
Yeah,
like he's fast with the hands. Doesn't necessarily have like ridiculous power, but he's got really fast combos. But Cedric Dumas got a nice little win over Abu Azaitar. The Azaitar boys just can't go 3 hard ones.
They can't figure it out.
No. Victor Henry Javid Basharat.
So this is the first instance that this whatever his fucking name doctor gets involved, and he goes in there and tells Victor that he didn't get hit in the balls. And then he says, no, it was dick and balls. Yeah. And proceeds to flop around the cage and was seemingly actually really hurt. And the doctor just wasn't having it. And he was trying to talk him out of basically, not being hurt.
He was, I mean, yeah, Anik was like pissed about that comment. And you can't tell a fucking professional cage fighter if they got hit somewhere or not, or like you can't say no, that doesn't hurt. You're a fucking cage fighter.
I would assume they showed him a replay, but the first replay they showed was a shitty angle. Like for us watching it, I wonder if he got to see the same one or
even the second one was tough though because it was just a real quick like it got the cup and then like his whole foot like turned down. So like at the end of it, it wasn't actually touching it.
if he was trying to put on an acting job, then the fight would have resumed and he would have kept going. You would think.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he doesn't. He's not trying to get out of there. Like
No, it
he
was
flew
a
to Abu Dhabi.
it was a real close fight up to that point, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then just weird overall to see a doctor even say something like that.
Yeah.
It should just be, can you continue? Yes or no. That's it.
Yeah. Not you didn't get hit in the nuts.
Not you didn't get kicked. I saw it. Just stupid.
Josh Barnett, I think he said something, tweeted or something that like his balls were actually like swollen, like visibly. I don't know if he looked himself or they're just saying what the doctor said, but apparently his balls are actually swollen.
Yeah. Well, you got to run that one back immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Trevor Peak, Muhammad Yahya. This is one I think we were like setting up for the podcast and stuff. I don't remember super well. I just know Trevor Peak was like much less wild than he has been in the past.
I saw his one of his post-fight interviews, and someone said that he sounds like Theo Vaughn, but got good at fighting. And he does sound.
I like him. I like him.
Pretty... He sounded just fucking like him.
That's funny. From Alabama and lives in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get more American than that.
No. Him and Nate the train.
Yeah. Muhammad Makhachev, Tim Elliott. Tim gave him a good fight, like until the third round, basically.
Then he got beat at his own game,
which
is just weird to see.
Yeah, he hit like that. I don't even know what they call it, but Tim had him in like a kind of a front headlock. Makhachev was on his knees, and he just like shot the hand through the legs, and like just flipped him over, basically.
Yeah,
and head and armed him.
Right.
So
pretty.
Makhachev is 5-0 in the UFC now, and he's like 20. I think he's like 24 years old. So,
and Tim's like 36 years old.
Yep.
Probably like 10-10 in the UFC or something.
Honestly, 20-13-1 overall.
20-13-1. He's been there. He's had a long run at it, though. I'm sure they'll give him another fight.
Yeah, I mean, he always makes it interesting, at least.
Yeah.
All right, main card: Saeed Nurmagomedov, Muin Gafurov.
He just got caught.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he like fucked up or anything. He just shot a takedown and
just got snatched up real quick.
And Saeed's had that choke throughout his UFC career. Like he's good at that choke.
Yeah, that was just a unfortunate.
Yeah. Ikram Alaskarov, Worley Alves.
Yeah, he looked really fucking good. That one kind of went how we all thought.
Yeah, I mean, Ikram. I was kind of critical about his debut, but we didn't see much. I mean, it was short, and I think he definitely looked a lot more like crisp and like let's just fucking stick to the fundamentals and not throw overhands and touch the mat with our hand and back fists and stuff. So
Matt Brown overhand.
Yeah, he's got a nice 1-2. Like that 1-2 is pretty lethal.
Yeah.
And then apparently he's got a good flying knee as well.
Dropped him with a jab at one point, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yep. And then the flying knee, yeah.
Magomed Ankalaev, Johnny Walker. This was really kind of if you take this out and you replace it with like a half decent fight, I feel like you could make an argument that this card was like worth the money, but this just killed it.
I would like to know what all was said, but I'm pretty sure after the ref was done playing fucking 21 questions with Johnny, I think he asked him where he was fighting or where he was. And then Johnny answered back, fighting in the desert. Right?
Mm-hmm.
How is that not a good enough answer? You're literally fighting in Dubai, which is a desert.
Yeah.
I mean, is it like, I don't know.
It's
that just doctor pissed everyone off.
Yeah.
He just had to interject himself into like make it about him for whatever reason and just did too much.
he clearly didn't understand the sport. I mean, these guys. First of all, this is a big fight. Like, this is a massive fight for both these guys. It's not just two and two UFC fighters. Like, this is a big deal. This like changes everything for like the trajectory of their career. So there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of adrenaline. Johnny Walker got kneed in the head. Yes, he's probably like not feeling great, but
If
they get
he
hit in
knew,
the head all the time.
if you knew anything about Johnny Walker, it's that when he's hurt, you know it.
Yeah.
It's big, and you can see it. And he literally, after he got kneed, he like kind of trolled afterwards with his knee still on the ground and like pointed at it.
Mm-hmm.
You're in any bad shape, in my opinion. You don't do any of that.
No,
Just a stupid ending to all of it.
Yeah. I mean, they got to run that one back, right?
Yeah, immediate rematch.
Yeah.
Not in Dubai and not with that doctor. That doctor needs to get fucking just get rid of him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wonder how long, because I mean, they do suspensions for guys that get knocked out. Like, I wonder if Johnny's. I mean, I'm sure the UFC will figure something out, but will Johnny have to wait a while? Is the question.
And also, this goes back to like Peter Yan and Aljo. That was an illegal knee. We all know how that one happened. Why is this one called a no contest? Like, what's the difference there?
That's a good point.
That's what I don't understand about this.
Is it the ref's call or like the commission's call?
I don't know that either. I feel like I should know that. I don't think it's on the ref. I think the doctor. Well, is it the ref? Because the doctor said he's not good enough to continue. So then, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
It's weird.
Do we remember?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, it's like I've never really thought about that. But some of them are no contest, some of them are DQs.
How do you differ that? Like, maybe they're saying Jan's like wasn't, or it was intentional, as opposed to this one, but he intentionally kneed him in the head. You know, maybe he just didn't know his knee was on the ground. I don't know. It's just stupid.
Yeah,
got to run.
Yeah, and I mean, they run it back. I mean, I guess it's not the worst thing in the world as far as timing, because obviously Yuri and Pereira's at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that is kind of bad timing, because like whoever wins this could just be like, I'm next. Like, whoever wins that fights me.
Right.
And now this rematch is going to happen after that. So the timing may not line up for the winner of this fight when they redo it to get a title shot.
Right. And knowing the UFC, they may not even fucking do it ever again.
Yeah.
It could be dumb shit like that.
I think the whole like them trying to fight each other in the cage after that, Dana saw that and was like, all right, I'm sold on this again.
Yeah, you got that part too. Yeah. I do love Dana just jumped in there and he's like, hey guys, cut the shit. They both calmed down real quick after that.
You got to listen to Dana.
Yeah.
Khamzat Kamaru Usman. It kind of went similar to what you were saying. Usman was going to have a little better time than people were thinking.
Maybe it's just me, but I thought the vast majority of people were thinking that Chimaev was just going to just steamroll him, just run right through him. But kind of like you said, I thought, Usman, it wasn't like a crazy barn burner back and forth fight, but he fought really well, I thought.
Yeah. He just got, again, I think his age just kind of, and not just age, but like the wear and tear on his knees and stuff, he just got out hustled a little bit on the mat.
He did say in a post-fight interview that he said he wished he would have trusted himself more. He didn't really elaborate as to what specifically, but I think because he started to have success with the hands there towards the end. I know it wasn't nothing crazy, but maybe if he lets the hands go a little more. But I'm going to die on the hill of if that was a 5-round fight, I think Kamaru comes out on top. I really do.
Yeah.
Chimaev does not have the gas tank, and if he finds himself in a title fight with Sean Strickland, which is what it sounds like, I think he's in deep shit.
I agree. Yeah,
if Sean can survive the early onslaught, which I think he will.
yeah. Well, the problem is that Khamzat's got to know. Like when I fought Gilbert, I stood basically the whole time, and he would definitely slow down like anybody would, but it wasn't like that. So it's
Right.
like he's a wrestler who just clearly has a gas tank problem when he wrestles a lot,
Right.
but not as much when he strikes.
And I think to beat Sean is to wrestle, but again, if you don't have the tank for it, he's going to have to figure something else out. I don't know. Before this fight, before he fought Usman, like just, on paper, I think Chimaev is an awful matchup for Sean. But after watching that, it's completely opposite for me now.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I didn't think Sean really had a great shot until the huff and puffing started happening, and I was like, shit, maybe, I don't know.
Dude, he was slouched over, hands on his knees, like breathing hard after that fight.
Now, if Sean has to wrestle for like 2 straight rounds as opposed to like striking with Izzy,
right? Then he may not be
tank. Yeah,
right. It's a good point.
It's. I mean, I don't know because I couldn't even tell you a fight that he has had to wrestle a lot, except for like Usman long time ago.
Right. At 170.
Yeah. I think Sean's. I said this last night. I feel like Sean saw that in that fight, and he was like licking his chops. He's like, "Yep, I got both these guys covered."
Exactly.
So, well, let's talk about the main event, and then we're gonna do a little bit of what's next for the co-main and main guys. Islam, obviously, we were all rooting for Volk, and Islam just found it. They found that shot.
Some guys just have people's numbers, and I think this is a case of that. I think you those guys fight 10 times. Volk might win once, but I just got his ass, and it sucks. And like Chad said last night, I think they just saw something that Volk does and just set up that high kick, and it worked perfectly.
Volk does what you're supposed to do, which is just keep your hand right here.
But it doesn't have 5'6", and that kick just went right over his hand, right off top of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess Volk, obviously, he's on the wrong end of the age scale here, too. So it's like the 1 out of 10 probably would have been the first fight. More likely.
Right.
So I don't know. So let's talk about what's next. So Islam, like let's just say that he stays at 155, which we'll get to the 170 thing.
So
can somebody beat him? Like, can anybody beat him?
Weren't they talking about a title eliminator?
That's what he said it.
He said that.
Yeah.
So that would be Gaethje and Oliveira.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already beat Charles.
Right. Gaethje, I just don't. I don't know if Gaethje's going to be able to draw out like a crazy slugfest out of Islam.
That's his only shot, is just doing Justin Gaethje shit and just turning it into an ugly brawl.
I feel like Gaethje can defend the takedowns probably.
You're right. He's probably
not shooting his own takedowns. I know that.
No,
but I don't like his chances.
I don't know. I think I like Gaethje as opposed to Charles.
Like better matchup for Gaethje than it is Charles.
Right.
I just think, yeah. I really believe in Charles' hands. Like I feel like in kicks, obviously.
Didn't Islam like drop his ass the first fight?
Yeah.
Like pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And Charles isn't gonna. He might get lucky with a sub or something, but I just don't see it.
He's got to do what you kind of said Usman said he should have done, which is just you got to let him fly. I mean, you're going to get taken down either way.
Gaethje will do that.
Yeah, you might be right about that being better.
So what if he decides to go up to 70? Is that on the table?
He was talking about he wants to fight the winner of Leon and Colby, which is probably very possible because the next person in line is Bilal Muhammad behind them, and they just hate Bilal.
I could see them fucking Bilal again and setting up the champ fight.
Yeah, and then Bilal is like pretty close with Khamzat, or not Khamzat, Islam and Khabib and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, can you imagine if Islam goes and beats the winner of that, and then Bilal's like feels
They're
like
like,
I can't fight him, like we're friends, like
they're like, all right, Bilal, here's your shot. It's against your buddy.
he's like no. Yeah. He's the whipping boy at this point. Sure.
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think. I mean, as big as an Islam going up to 170 fight would be, he hasn't gotten through everybody at lightweight yet.
Right.
Gaethje's there. Dustin. I mean, Dustin obviously is going to need at least a win or two.
Right.
Beneil's obviously going to need a win or two. Hadn't fought Chandler. Hadn't fought Gamrot. Hadn't fought Fiziev.
As opposed to Volk, he's cleaned out 45 basically.
Yeah.
I mean, they made him fight Max Holloway 3 fucking times. You know.
That's how bad he beat everybody else.
Right. That makes more sense for him to go up and chase another title. But like you said, Islam hasn't done that. But
and he's gonna the UFC's gonna want it. I mean, the UFC's gonna want him to go up. Like they're gonna be open to it because it's gonna be a big champ versus champ thing,
right?
Which sucks because then everybody at 55, like I don't see Islam doing like what Jamal Hill did and being like, guys, I'm gonna be gone for a while.
Yeah.
You guys figure it out. Here's the belt.
Right.
He's not gonna do that.
If he does, I think you do the title eliminator, and then win or loss, he goes back down and defends it against whoever they decide for the eliminator.
Right. All right. So Volk, I mean, Volk's been pretty vocal about saying he wants to fight in January against Ilya Topuria.
That's tough after getting your head kicked out of the cage. I don't know how the suspension deals work, but it's not a good look to get knocked out and fight 3 months later against an absolute fucking destroyer.
No, not only did he get kicked in the head, he got punched in the back of the head 3 times.
Yeah.
In the front 3 times.
And on the top.
The top. Everywhere.
In a matter of 5 seconds, he got just fucked up.
I mean, he probably feels like, and he kind of alluded to this, that he's running out of time a little bit. Like, he's got to get going.
Right. He did say he wants to stay active, so I think he's aware of, he's like, shit, I'm 36. I need to, make all the money while I can, while I'm still, at the top. But
now the weird thing is that we've already talked about the UFC trying to do Max and Topuria for the interim. So it's like Volk's saying he wants to be there for the real one. They're already trying to book the interim. So it's like, the interim looks a lot more likely now, obviously, but it's just weird that both of those are like.
They tried to book that?
Like they're trying like before this fight, like I think like a week or two ago, I saw they were trying to do interim.
Like after Volk took the rematch fight?
Yeah. Yeah, like right after.
So basically, if Volk gets cleared to fight Topuria, that's obviously going to happen. But if not, it's going to be Max Topuria.
Yeah, I don't remember what card they were saying. It might be that same one, maybe. I can't remember, honestly.
Let's say they do that and somehow Max pulls a win out of his ass. You got to fucking fight Max for the 4th goddamn time?
me and Chad talked. Yeah, I was like, do we want to see that? Does anybody want to see that?
I don't think Max wants to see that because even if I couldn't imagine losing the same guy 3 times, let alone fucking 4 times. That would just be, I don't know.
I mean, Volk's gonna have to get old fast. Like he's gonna have to look old in there, or Max, because Max isn't really. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Max, but he's not getting better.
No, it's going to be the same Max from here on out.
Yeah, it's kind of always been the same Max.
Right. Yeah. It all just depends on if Volk is good to go or not, I guess.
I'd like to see. I would like to see, just for his sake, the interim title happen.
Yeah.
Topuria, and I want Topuria to win because again, Max 4 doesn't need to happen. I like Topuria. I'm a little worried for Volk's sake that maybe this is just like the passing of the torch now.
What, to Topuria?
Yeah.
And okay, let's say it is. Then what's Volk do? Does he just go fuck around, fight a couple 55ers, and call it a day?
Yeah, I mean, well, if he loses, like if Topuria beats Max and then he loses to Topuria, he'll get a rematch, probably.
Right.
And then if he loses that, then yeah, he'll probably go up to 55 and fight guys similar to him, like guys that aren't really in the title picture because they've already lost to the guys up there, like Chandler or Dustin. Which
that'd be fun.
It's so hard for me to picture Dustin and Volkanovski in the cage together.
Right. Like if you told me that, like, not that that's even a possibility. Well, I guess it kind of is a possibility now, but a couple years ago, that would just sounds absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't even look right. Like it just doesn't. Volk's arms are going to be like half the size. Like,
right.
So,
I don't know. Whatever Volk does, I just hope it's good and I hope he wins.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, the physical is definitely going to go away, and then maybe it is. I don't know, but the mental is not. Like he knows how to fucking like adjust and like not just run right into shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like like Nate or somebody who they just walk forward no matter what, don't adjust. Yeah.
I just really sucks that both of our boys got head kicked, knocked out in the same year. Like, why do I do this to myself?
Yeah.
We talked about this last night, but I get too invested, but I cannot fucking help myself.
Yeah. I feel like I'm like numb to it now, to where it's like I just temper the expectations and like just prepare myself for the worst, really.
Right.
Because like Dustin getting knocked out by Michael Johnson back in the day was like really hard pill for me to swallow.
Well, that's a super winnable fight that he should have won.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought the same thing about the Gaethje rematch, but boy, was I fucking wrong.
Yeah. Well, I think the good thing for both of them is they didn't just get completely beat, like they don't have it anymore.
Right. They just kind of got, just a little clippy, just a little.
Just got caught.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Khamzat, what's next for him is pretty obvious. They said he's fighting Sean.
I don't like that, for one. He's had one fight at 85. I mean, I feel like he's got to earn his stripes more. I know he beat a former champ, but that was a former champ on zero notice and up a weight class he's never fought out before. So
Dana gets rock hard about guys that do stuff on short notice.
Right.
He loves that shit. So I think that's literally all this comes down to. Obviously, Khamzat's a huge star also, but like, can you imagine Usman if he would have squeaked out a decision, like jumping everybody to fight for the belt?
Absolutely not.
This was supposed to be for Khamzat, like clearly to get the belt.
Now that you say, I didn't think about that, but if he did win, I don't think he's getting the same treatment. I don't think he's immediate straight to a title.
Would they announce Sean versus fucking Duplessis like tomorrow if that were the case?
Probably. That's another guys like Duplessis, he's getting screwed.
Yeah.
And he's they're just sitting there waiting, like, all right, I guess this fucking guy who's fought one time in our division, we'll just wait on him, I guess.
That's just the fuckery that goes on in the UFC. That's just how it goes.
It will be entertaining, and the buildup will be hilarious.
Yep. And Khamzat's obviously like a pretty intimidating guy, and I do think people get like pretty intimidated by him, but Sean is not going to do that.
Right.
At all. So who's Usman fight now? I'm assuming he sticks around at 85. I kind of like him and Costa. I mean, I feel like that kind of makes a lot of sense.
Costa just seems like these guys, they just seem so much bigger than Usman, man. I mean, the size wasn't like super noticeable last night, I don't think, but I don't know. It's just I mean, that'd be a fun yes, but
if he's
I
wanting
don't.
to fight at 85, like that's
Can
how it's
we?
gonna have to be.
Who else we got in the top 10 there?
I mean, right now it's Sean, Izzy, Drickus, Whitaker, Cannonier, Vittori, Costa, Delize, Hermanson, Brendan Allen, Kelvin.
I think him and Vittori would be a fun one.
That I don't think Vittori's booked right now, so that makes sense too.
That'd be a fun one. Maybe Kelvin would be a fun one.
I think Kelvin's got. Oh well, Kelvin he's at welterweight now, so he shouldn't even be on here.
Shit, I like Vittori out of that group.
Yeah. I mean Vittori. I mean you can definitely count on him to be there more than Costa. Right. So if you want to just not deal with bullshit, maybe do him.
I guess
Vittori.
They could do Costa after he heals his elbow or whatever.
Yeah, he can't. In my opinion, Usman shouldn't be fighting like Cannonier, Whitaker, Duplessis, Izzy like that.
Right. No,
I do think that.
If he does stick with 85, I think he's going to take a little bit of time to build himself up to that.
Yeah.
I don't think he did say that too in that post fight. You know, he said Chimaev has been off for a year and a half, you know, getting himself ready for 85, and he didn't have that same opportunity. So I'm thinking he's going to take some time to maybe go about, you know, going to 85 a little differently.
Now, the weird thing here is that he was booked against Bilal before this. So, like, maybe he won't stick around at 85. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I mean, I feel like he's probably pretty, like, obviously lost, but he's probably kind of like, man, I feel like I can hang with these guys, like, physically.
Right. But, I mean, if he goes back down to 70, he's, like, right back into the title mix.
Yeah.
Like, just.
If Colby wins, that might make his decision for him.
Right. Go beat Colby.
Yeah, he already beat him twice.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's actually probably a big factor. At HOR Podcast on Instagram, at Hungover Handwrite on TikTok. Make sure to like and subscribe our channel if you want to hear more MMA content like this. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Later.